Before it's 7 o'clock, I'd like to open the planning board meeting, 5:26. Missing a couple members. We do have 3, so we can open the meeting for previous meeting. Any discussion?
We approve the minutes at.
Second,
And all in favor?
Aye.
aye,
All right, next is, I need an agenda. I have 2 agendas. Okay, now the election of officers, we're gonna move that out to the next meeting. Lauren, if you could put that at the end of the next meeting, election of officers. Hello, how are you?
Hi.
Right, planners report.
So, as my planner's report says, May 20th, today's the 26th, not the 20th. I'll update that. Let's see if there's anything I want to highlight. I guess the zoning board is, first, tomorrow at the community center, we have the West Upton Visioning Project, so there's gonna be the rollout of the draft plan for that. So that is of general interest, everyone's invited, it's a public outreach meeting, the consultants want feedback on that plan.
How are you advertising your outreach?
So it's been on the website, it's been on town's Facebook, letting any and all boards know. Sort of thing,
what time does that start again?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
I accused myself, so I shouldn't.
Yeah, so if folks would like to attend that, that'd be great, get some good feedback on the West Upton Visioning Plan. The Economic Development Committee's been working on that for the past year. So, it's, again, for people who might be hearing for the first time, it's modeled after the plan that you did in the center here. Mr. Chairman.
Either Ken or I can sign this, because we're butters.
Signed it.
Either Ken or I or somebody else sign this.
Okay, is that the?
Oh, is that- This is the A and R though.
I can just get a third
Does that
signature
matter?
later in the week.
You need to report.
I need 3 signatures on that.
I mean, can we, if we recused ourselves from,
This is a completely different filing technically.
It's separate, so.
Yeah, it's a separate filing.
I
This
think-
is that your planning
Yeah.
board approval is not required.
oh, sorry, that's what I get for coming late.
The only issue I had on that, which was corrected, was that it has to specifically say that no further development of the lot can be done through you do it the original large lot reduced frontage process and not the 81 feet process. But that has the note lines on it, straight out of our book. And no updates on the treasurer's report?
Yes.
Mr. Treasurer, no updates on the,
No, nothing.
Mine.
is that it for the? Like that?
Yeah, the only other thing I wanted to mention was, the zoning board is currently reviewing 45 Milford Street, 27 townhouses there. If the planning board has any specific feedback you'd like to give out about that plan, they'd love to hear it, but one thing that they're going through right now is, so there are no sidewalks on 140, as we know, down that way. Your sidewalks end at Brook Street. The zoning board being faced with 27 townhouses going in 1,000 linear feet past Brook Street. It's going to be 27 units of 3-bedroom units. They're expecting families, so we'll move into there, and they'd like for them to have access to the things that the town can provide access to, community center being one of those. This particular property has, I'll say frontage, but has access on Brook Street. Brook Street, yeah.
Mhm.
access on Brook Street as well as on 140. The zoning board would like to provide future residents with that development access to Brook Street so that they can be pedestrians on Brook Street and make connection up to wherever they're going to from there, presumably the community center. So they're navigating that process at the zoning board right now. Planning board doesn't have to give comments on that if you don't want to, but
Well, if I may interrupt you right
Yeah.
there, the planning board has provisions that allow us to have developers make improvements on adjacent streets. For such things that either to widen it or put in a sidewalk, we have that authority in our subdivision control regulations. They should have the same right to, if with that, that's a large development.
Mhm.
It equals any subdivision or exceeds any subdivision we're gonna have. They should have the same rights as those people in the subdivisions, and the zoning board should have the same rights to enforce it.
Right.
We can
And
put-
as you know, they are through the 40B process, they are the planning board for intents and purposes.
Special permit granting
yeah.
authority.
So the other part of that is the lack of sidewalks on Route 140, right? It was brought to my attention that DOT is doing a much, I'll call it a tip project. I think it's technically a tip project, but it's a much smaller project in scale with relation to the larger, starting at Brook Street and basically ending at the Grafton line, which will include the roundabout at where we sit here. So that's the larger project. Then they're also doing a much smaller project that'll involve the slight realignment of Prospect Street, thank you, of Prospect Street. And because DOT has standards for when they redevelop these, come and redo these roads, they're always, they'll add sidewalks where there aren't sidewalks. They'll add a bike lane where there isn't a bike lane. This being a tip project, they're going to do just that. But that project is 1,000 linear feet away from the other tip project that ends at Brook Street. So
What are they
we're
doing?
ending up with sidewalks that exist on the frontage of that property, but then don't go anywhere.
Now, what are they gonna do with Prospect Street? Because right now that's considered, it's like an 120-degree angle.
Yeah,
It's almost considered straight line frontage.
Mhm.
Are they gonna make an entrance with a curve and it's gonna stop that, or do you know what they're gonna do?
It won't quite be a 90-degree angle because I don't believe they can achieve that, but they'll bring it closer to a 90-degree angle.
Because that's gonna affect how we measure frontage on that, on 140 of that street. Because right now, if you've got a lot, the gas station going up Prospect, it's a straight line because it's a 120-degree angle.
Right.
So if they change that to less than that, we would be changing our frontage requirements because they would end at that Prospect Street. It would begin anew.
Okay.
That would limit the gas station's frontage is what it would do.
Yeah, I'll look at that. I don't think that'll be an issue, but
Just curious.
yeah, I'll look at it. So anyway, to button that up, I put in a request to DOT to basically connect those sidewalks so that you don't have, who knows, again, then the problem becomes, I have no idea when they're actually gonna get around to putting those.
They're never gonna go out of style.
Yeah,
Put
but,
sidewalks in.
but at least it is now on their docket to be addressed, so it won't be forgotten forever.
Is there no sidewalk from like the VFW to Brooks on that? I forget if there's anything there.
Maybe.
No, there's not. There, unless you.
I
would
think
have
it-
to- There's a sidewalk on where the VFW is, right? And then that continues down to Brook Street, where Brook Street.
Oh, it
ends.
does go all the way to Brook Street?
Yeah, it ends at Brook Street, and then there's
Okay.
no sidewalk on Brook Street, and obviously there's no sidewalk on 140 for the
So-
remainder.
Can the zoning board require the 40B to extend a
I mean, we're
sidewalk?
navigating that process right now. They're hoping that developer will offer something.
Makes more sense to have it on 140 than to dump people on walking on Brooks, which doesn't have sidewalks either.
Yes.
Because they're gonna use 140 anyway.
Okay, thank you very much. It is 7:10. Let's suspend the regularly scheduled meeting and open up a public hearing for 130 for East Street Estates. a definitive subdivision for 17 lots. Do we have the applicant? Go ahead.
Tim Sullivan and John Federico.
Evening, and for the record, John Federico with Guerrier and Helmon. Not sure if anybody is aware, but at least on the planning board side of things, your folks' screen is black. Not sure if that's an issue or anything.
I'm sorry, say that again, John?
Yeah, at least your screen, your cameras, they're just showing up as black right now, just as a heads up for everyone.
Thank you.
Coming through clear for me, guys. I see you
Eric,
all.
it's-
Clear for me as well.
Oh, you,
Uh,
other people can see?
Might just be
Oh,
an
okay.
issue my end in that case then. But no worries or anything. If everybody else can see, fine. But for this project, for East Street, Mike, would you like to start off with any updates on your end to the board, or would you like me just to kind of recap based on our correspondences?
Oh, I'll jump in. Thanks, John. Through the chair, I met with the select board at their last meeting to just bring the idea of the crosswalk and the sidewalk to them in lieu of the open space to be provided within the subdivision. I asked them to basically comment as to whether or not they consider this to be a non-starter, right? I wasn't expecting them to be enthusiastic about it or say that, yes, that's exactly what we want, because it's the first time they've been hearing about it, really. But wanted to get their feedback as to whether or not they thought that the planning board should continue down this road. And so the answer is yes, they're okay with whatever the result is at the end of this process.
What about conservation and was Hopkinton involved at all? If there was more.
I had reached out to Hopkinton, just for context, to understand if they had any future plans to extend sidewalks from School Street. And the answer to that is no, they're not looking at it.
And the project across the street, this goes through their parking lot. Is there any issues with that? We have the right of way.
You have the town line cuts through a portion of Rockwood Meadows up to the entrance of that parking lot. So that is still all town of Upton up to the parking lot. It becomes town of Hopkinton into the parking lot.
And all of our work would be located within the town of Upton right away. Based on our designs, we wouldn't need any easements or anything from the Rockwood development, and wouldn't need to adjust the current roadway location to accommodate for the sidewalk.
Well, Mr. Chairman, also I'd asked the engineers, my concern also was having enough space within the right of way to complete the work without needing temporary easements onto Rockwood Meadows. So far, Mr. Federico seems to be in agreement that it can be accomplished, that the work can be done without needing to secure temporary construction easements for putting that sidewalk in.
Like the clay, the straw for like drainage and things like that, or
No, I mean, just for like, having workers stand on property that is not on the right of way, right? And stand on property
Okay.
owned by Rockwood Meadows, and occupy that space while they.
but it's not an erosion or
No.
drainage control.
No. And then also confirming that the light pole, utility pole that is near the driveway entrance for Rockwood Meadows, because it needs to be relocated, that there's adequate space to relocate that within the right of way, but not in the paved portion of obviously East Street or the paved portion of the proposed sidewalk. It sounds like at this time, there is enough space in order to relocate that effectively, so it won't cause an issue interfering with either of those paths.
All right, a question, and you have a retaining wall on this, correct?
There is a retaining wall proposed for the subdivision, but nothing retaining wall related would be proposed relating to the sidewalk extension.
This isn't about the sidewalk. This is about my long-standing worry about retaining walls being a problem with the town in the future. You were supposed
yes,
to provide us with a structural study and
Yes,
engineering.
So we have previously provided the structural plans, and we have acquired the additional boring information that was asked by peer review. So with the favorable reception that we received from the select board on the sidewalk, we will be intending to get everything resubmitted back to the town this week, including the updated borings and reflecting the sidewalk extension in our definitive plan set.
Well, selectmen aside, this is a planning board issue. You're asking for a waiver of a standard road design so that you can get in X number of houses. To do this, you're asking for a retaining wall, and you're asking this board to waive your side slopes so that you can put in a retaining wall and get your number of houses in there. Why is it in the best interest of the town for us to give you that waiver?
I don't have a specific answer for you there and how that is of best interest for the town. But everything would be designed with the structural engineer in mind.
What's your
we have
justification?
gone
What's your justification for the waiver? Why is it in the best interest of this board to waive the requirements?
At this moment, I don't have a proper justification for you for that.
All right, thank you.
The additional justification for that, if I may, Mr. Chair, would be to minimize potential impact to the wetlands at the crossing.
So if you were to put the road in without the 4-to-1 side slope, you'd have to go through a wetland?
Well,
That-
this
that-
is going through a wetland, for the crossing area, for the wall area.
So what you're actually doing is playing one board, the conservation, against the planning board.
Not intentionally, I'm just explaining why we have the walls relative to the crossing area.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board? All right, what else you got for us?
As far as this
Well,
project
wait
goes,
until they're through. Can we ask all the questions at the end? To make sure the notes all right, all right. Go ahead.
with regards to this project and us being able to resubmit to the board, we just wanted to make sure that any and all comments related to the sidewalk extension are being addressed on our end so that we can have a comprehensive review with any appropriate departments and with Stan Tech, the peer reviewer. So just wanted to verify with the board if there was any extra details or anything regarding the sidewalk extension that you would like to see so that we can incorporate that into our submission.
I don't have any issues. Any members of the board on the access to the open space and using the town?
Sounds like it's a good thing with the DPW.
Through the chair, I do have a question about the retaining wall, because I know that's been a long-standing issue. Does it make any difference in, the retaining wall, whether you're putting 10 houses in or 40 houses in? Or is it just because you need a retaining wall there?
It
So-
is for the wetland crossing, so it would be needed no matter how many houses you would be putting down
Okay.
there.
Okay, that's what I thought. And what you're looking at is where I think in the past, they haven't been able to do it, is come up with a structural engineering plan for the retaining wall that works.
We do have a structural design that does work based on the boring analysis and the structural analysis that has been done for it. I can't speak for past designs and where those have been left, but we will be having a fully stamped and reviewed design for that.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I guess just one, reiterating the location of the crosswalk and the traffic coming up from the south blind area. I actually mentioned to Mike that somebody from Rockwood Meadows mentioned that rather than come out the road onto East Street to turn right or left, I guess, they go through the parking lot so that they at least have a longer sight line because it's so dangerous to pull out of there.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that, John?
Yes, sir.
Access to the recreation area. going,
so with-
Yeah, just the crosswalk to get over to the proposed open space.
would it make more sense, safety wise, to put the crosswalk coming from the parking lot area, did you say, or?
It's just I don't know how far up you'd have to make it. To have it, traffic be safe.
Is that something you could take a look at and,
In terms of crossing up closer to where the parking area is, unfortunately, with the current road layout not being centered within the right-of-way, there is not enough space within the right-of-way layout to facilitate a 5-foot sidewalk and have it be ADA compliant with the town's standards.
okay, thank you.
So they can't put a sidewalk on the other side of the street. There's no space for it. They have to cross beforehand.
And ADA would be non-ABA compliant. Oh, a second.
Specialty is with children. And I'm really concerned about Peppercorn Hill being considered a place for children really to go play. I like that area. You go back into the swamp, you're back of all the houses of that housing development. I rarely meet children back there.
Well-
And the idea of young kids crossing such a busy street, I would feel much happier if you had a thing you could push a button and it would stop traffic, period.
Well, if one thing, if I may explain what we're allowed to do with this is, we have them either set aside open space inside the subdivision, which is going to be the same thing as a forest. It's going to be whatever it is. It's just going to be open space. It's not going to be developed. Or is there someplace better that the open space that would help the whole town and not just, because this open space inside the subdivision is just for the subdivision, just for those people. So what we ask is if you want to put something that if you're close to a recreational area, where you provide access to that recreational area, which is still, but that would allow them to use the town's land. It's a bigger, more useful. And that's what he's trying to do. Because if he does not convince 3 members that this is the best place to put the open space, then it goes inside the subdivision.
I think of young kids who want to play and stuff. They're gonna have to cross a very busy street.
My kids would be gone on their bikes into the woods or across the street, not even looking at traffic, and they'd be gone. I don't know if that's enough of a reason to not provide access for everybody else. Because if I'm gonna be worrying about the kids going into the state forest, I gotta worry about them on their open space inside the subdivision.
It's safer for them, for young kids, really young kids, to be able to within that whole communities that being built on this side, that they have a place to be. They don't have to leave the parents.
And something, go ahead.
I'm sure you were understanding what she was suggesting about the site plan. She was saying, folks who live in Market Meadows, when they exit, many of them do not exit on the street. They cross through the parking lot of the clubhouse because they have a longer sight line looking to the south.
Okay,
Because it's a very short sight line if you come out here and people are moving and it's dangerous.
all right, I can't tell him how to design it. If his access is safe, if he's designed a safe area and he's looked at if changing it causes an ADA problem or it causes some other problem other than sight, height, elevation, whatever, then I have to let the developer design us. Then let our engineer review it and make sure that we've got all the engineering. So
Through the chair, didn't we discuss a light?
Yeah, we're talking
Last
about
time.
flashing
we
crosswalks.
wanted a push button. Somebody mentioned a push button light. Yes, we're requiring that. Yes. That is part of the deal.
Yeah.
Does
And
anybody
that
else
is
vote?
still an intention of our design is to have it not be a constant flashing light at the request of the board. It would be
Yeah.
a push button signalized flashing light to warn when pedestrians are.
People get immune to the flashing light. If you have it flashing all the time, people get immune to it. So have it access when you cross.
Would there be any signage further south on the street, letting traffic know that there's?
Both sides. Both directions.
I'm also curious. I don't have any knowledge of why the town, or the members of this committee or whatever committee has created the regulation that you should have a place within the development itself in open space. And could you tell me why they ask for that to be included in the planning of the development?
We put that in about 45 years ago. Yes, I was on the board then. And,
No.
yeah, and one of our thoughts was that these big subdivisions are, that we wouldn't have any ball fields and that we'd have kids that wouldn't have any place to play and that wouldn't. So we said, all right, put at least a place for the kids to play in your subdivision. And it stays with them. So at least we have some open space left. In every subdivision, we had open space, trees, things, grass, trees, and it just wasn't all pavement. So that's the reason we put it in, was just to keep every subdivision with a little bit of open space.
And through the chair, just to follow up, this is in the bylaws, correct? And the bylaws are voted for at town meeting. So it's not the planning board arbitrarily deciding, we want to do this. It's the town. If you go to town meeting, there's really boring things.
Just not in this town.
Just a quick clarification on that. Subdivision rules and regulations are approved to this board through a public hearing process. It doesn't go to.
Oh, okay. I
But
thought,
you're correct that your
Bylaws.
some bylaws do.
Yeah. okay.
It still goes through a public hearing process.
Just to continue that, but could there be one less house lot that could be used for open space within development?
Usually that's what happens. They have to lose a lot.
Yeah.
It's 10% of the land, 10% of the.
10% of the total.
That's, yes, usually it's a lot. If it's if it's the smaller lots, it might be more, but in an 80,000 square foot zone, usually one lot will cover your 10%.
Mr. Chairman.
Subdivision, so that
Here's
is.
some
Not to go through town
but
meeting.
somebody online witness as well.
I thought-
Somebody online, the hand up. Just give your name.
I think that's.
Okay.
Mike, you have comments? You're muted.
Okay, was this,
I'm
wait.
sorry, I had, yeah, hi, it's Mike Penko from Conservation Commission. A couple of things. One is just, I was looking at the layout for the sidewalk where it comes to the parking area. And I just want to note that the Conservation Commission, we manage that parking area. And we planted a couple of trees, one on each side of the entrance there. And I would hope that, it looks like maybe one of the trees is going to be, the location is going to be problematic in terms of the sidewalk. So would the applicant, either move that tree or give us a new tree if it doesn't survive being moved?
How big is that tree, Mike?
It's about diameter is probably about an inch in diameter, a little more now. It's about 6 feet tall. They're both black gum trees. They grow slowly.
backhoe move it, Mike?
Yeah, I think so. But, it'd be nice if there was some guarantee if it didn't survive being moved by a backhoe that they would replace it.
Can you work with the applicant to show them where it is and where it's going?
Sure, we can do that. Yeah.
Because it would help if you had a spot ready for it.
Yeah, we possibly could just move it a little bit in from the road to avoid the sidewalk.
Yeah, we'll be glad to meet with a representative and take a look at that.
But what we did is we planted one on each side, so they were kind of paired. So they're going to be a little one. They'll be off center now, but if you just move one of them, but we can talk about that.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sure you can work that in. Should you approve this, you can work that into your conditions.
All right, thank you. Now, we're continuing with this for 2 weeks or a month. What are we doing?
Some more questions, I think.
I think we still have questions.
Related question, I believe there were 2 A&R lots that were part of this proposal. And do you typically sanction from those, right?
Separately. That's a separate process.
In this case?
I don't know, but those actually, a frontage lot is our approval is not required. Planning board approval not required, but
Deal with those before the meeting starts.
well, one of the problems I have is if it's still in the subdivision profile, its drainage is included, a lot of things are included, the law's included, the land's included, so it's up to him to leave them in or out. I mean, after the thing's approved, he can break them off at any time. But as long as they're in the subdivision, we have to include them in the land profile and drainage.
I ask because I've gotten from Concom. I just wondering.
They can go ahead on that separately, other than, separate from the subdivision. They can just get that approval, bring the plans in. If they conform to zoning, we would sign them.
Just one point that I was thinking about earlier today is it's quite a distance to walk from the end of the road of the street that's being put in to where the Peppercorn Hill Conservation Land actually begins. It's at least a quarter of a mile. So people are children. I'm worried about kids. That's my concern. And so it's a quarter of a mile that they have to walk through to get to where they will be on public land again. So, and I know that can't say that this is in perpetuity, that they'll always be able to do this, but that's a long way to walk to go play.
What are the rules on, is there any age limit on the state forest, or is there any age limit on Peppercorn Hill?
No. And I live in the middle of protected space. And I'd love to have more kids in it, but the kids that go in it go with their parents. And there's, it isn't, and quite honestly, I grew up in the woods.
It doesn't show.
Well, I'll start pulling the ticks off. But yeah, it's, I don't think that Peppercorn is gonna be any more inundated with children than it already is.
But I do share your concern, but I'm not so sure that the planning board can solve that issue with this application.
Yeah, I will say I do quite a bit of walking in the woods and I don't encounter children. I mean, young adults, perhaps teenagers, but not children.
All right, we do have lots to go, so I would like to move on.
Unless they're accompanied.
What's the,
So, Mr. Chairman, this particular application has been public hearing deadlines extended through this meeting with a constructive grant at the end of June. So I was just at this point, I'm looking for a continuance of this public hearing to another.
either 2 weeks or 4?
Yeah, so June 9th or June 23rd.
What's your pleasure? June 9th or 24th?
Jim, I'm not sure if you have any preference. I'm thinking 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think, Mike, through you, I mean, if we're gonna get some stuff filed later this week, get it to the peer reviewer, and we can evaluate whether we have feedback at that time, if that's okay.
Awesome. All right, so we will continue this public hearing until June 9th at 7:05. Do we have anything else on for that date, Mark?
7:05 is taken, we can do 7:10.
All right, 7:10. Continue till June 9th, 7:10. Thank you.
Great, thank you all.
I'm going to reopen the regularly scheduled meeting and suspend that and open up a public hearing for 130 South Street. Proposed 4 lots. The applicant here or online?
Once again, John Federico with Guerrier and Hellman. For this project, we are representing the applicant, John O'Connor. Based on the feedback that we had received at the last meeting, Mr. O'Connor has asked us to present a concept plan that we believe would correct the 4-foot coverage over any drainage pipes within the right-of-way requirements that was being discussed at the last meeting. If I can agree with screen sharing privileges, I'd be more than happy to show everyone that plan.
Go ahead.
All right, one moment, please.
Well, Mr. Chairman, you received just general comments from peer review about pipe sizing and coverage. Based on that question, that is attempted to be corrected for in this new iteration. But that's, just for your general resources of understanding, because those are Mass DOT specifications concerning the pipe and the cover. So just confirmation that there's local authority, well, it is the state of Massachusetts provides for that type of pipe and then dictates the type of cover based on the size of the pipe.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, is everybody able to see the updated plan in front of us?
Go right ahead.
Okay, great. So with this revision, essentially we're focusing on what was station 0 up to the point of curvature for the roadway. And this portion of the site has been shifted to the north by between 20 to 25 feet. This is allowing us to utilize a higher starting point off of South Street to pick up the overall road elevation. And with this change, we have provided more space south of the proposed road so that we are able to flip the drainage from the north side to the south side. Existing grades in that area are 2 feet or more lower than what was previously proposed. So where we were previously requesting a waiver for pipe coverage of 1.9 feet, we believe with this revised concept and the 2+ feet that we're gaining in natural grade, plus the extra space that we're gaining with the higher roadway elevation, that we would be able to fully achieve 4-foot coverage requirements for this site. We have checked these lots based off of frontage and area requirements, and we will not be having any issues with this change on those. And also, as shown on this plan, we have fully worked out the 4-to-1 slope for the drainage basin with a slightly new configuration for the basin. And as things are currently being proposed, there would be no additional waivers that would be required for the 4-to-1 grading or any retaining walls located just outside of where the right-of-way would be.
Okay, now that change, we haven't that peer reviewed because we have to make sure that there's no impacts on drainage, if there's any cut and fill or any Concom impacts with your change. So that will go to peer review.
So, yeah, Mr. Chairman, if I could, John, if I could jump in real quick, Mr. Chairman, what you're looking at there is that's from the last peer review because peer review went over by about $1,000, I think. Just do the back and forth on those plans. So that would need to be accounted for. This would be in addition. What you're looking at now is basically it's going to be treated as a new plan, I'm sure, by peer review. So we'll need another contract like that to authorize peer review to do additional services, but then also likely additional escrow funds from the applicant in order to provide for the peer review. I know I spoke with Jim and John about that previously, so hopefully their client is okay with that.
It sounds like a positive change.
So just to, Mr. Chairman, just to clarify, there would be no waiver requests or just relief from the waiver on the pipe?
Well, there's a road waiver request of 24 feet. I know they've got at least one waiver.
It was,
Oh, no, that was,
So the
yeah.
waiver that would still be applicable is the roadway length.
Okay.
But the roadway width is currently shown as 26 feet wide, so no requests there would be needed. And this would also be eliminating the waiver request for the pipe coverage, pending any new soil testing and values that are determined from that.
And for the road length, you have a statement from the fire department saying they can
I
access
do
it?
not have an explicit statement, but we'll be more than happy to get one from the fire department.
Yes.
We would be intending to still provide the fire cistern instead of it being located on the south side. That just has been flipped to the north side here. And anything for details on that, we will be getting worked out with the fire department, but we have used recently approved details for the town of Upton for our submission of said fire system.
Does the DPW get involved with the cistern in the cul-de-sac at all? right.
The cistern, I do not believe would be worked out with the DPW. I think that would just be with fire department. And cul-de-sac size is meeting the minimum size requirements of, I believe it was a 50-foot radius, if I recall correctly.
Yes. Yes, 100 foot across, 120 foot is the right of way, but it's only 100 foot of pavement.
Yes,
All right,
with
thank you
this
very
one,
much.
we actually do have a slightly enlarged cul-de-sac, so we are going to be a little bit above those numbers for this proposal.
Those are minimum requirements, so yes, you can go further than that. If that's it, we will move on.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, if I may, it's Jim Sullivan. From the last meeting, there was a lot of concern, I believe, on the pipe elevations. If, you know, as we show the sketch here, we believe we can correct that, and I would just be looking to understand if that was one of the major hurdles from the last few meetings, and you said this seemed positive. I'm just looking to understand and maybe reinforce that. This certainly would help,
Yes,
I believe, right?
if you're not asking for a construction standard waiver, it's certainly going to help you, yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we'll open our regularly scheduled meeting.
Question.
Do I have any?
Is that another question? All right, I want to move on to,
Mr. Chairman, but you do have to continue that to another meeting.
oh, yes, I thought we didn't do that one yet?
I don't think you-
Well, then it's, when we want, it'll be the 9th or the 23rd.
Yeah, I have to imagine we're not gonna be able to get peer review comments back for the 9th.
I would like to request the 23rd for that.
Yep.
All right, 7:15 on the 23rd. We will schedule, we will post, till then.
And for the record, Mr. Chair, you did receive a butter comments that were distributed to you ahead of time. I imagine I'll probably get more comments.
I do just have a comment. Would there be ample time for the abutters to review the new plan before?
I don't know when we'll get it.
Isn't it done?
Yeah, is that, we just
Oh,
saw,
it's not submitted yet.
not submitted.
That's what they wanted to discuss with you tonight.
Well, what you need to hear is what the peer review is. I mean, what they're submitting is one thing, but what does the planning board's reviewing engineer say about it? Because that's what we're going to discuss, and then we're going to talk to you guys about what you say, so. Probably not much before the meeting. I mean, you can talk to Mike a few days before, you know, sometime the third week of June and say, did you get anything for us? It's all public.
Submitted the morning of, right?
Pardon me?
Get peer review the morning of once.
Sometimes we don't even get it that day, so. But if we do, we'll make it available.
As soon as, Mr. Chair, as soon as we get anything, we try to get it up on the website as soon as possible.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
This new plan is gonna be good for our neighborhood.
I don't know. They have to prove that.
So they want to build, they don't really care what happens to us. So if it fails, then what recourse do we have?
They have to abide by the rules that the town set. Those are set it at either at a public meeting, and we enforce those rules. And if they want a waiver from one of them, they have to convince us that it's in the best interest of you and the neighborhood and the town for us to waive something. And that's usually the fight. Because if they don't ask for any waivers, we generally can't deny it. It goes, because if it's appealed and it goes to court, the judge says it's approved. There's no waivers. No. This has been, how many, 2 years, 3 years in front of the board? We're familiar with the property. And they've been working on it. But no, nothing's been guaranteed yet. And when we vote after all of the facts are in, the neighbors have been notified, and we don't rush through it. But we can't fill up the moat and raise the bridge either. All right. So let's suspend our regularly scheduled meeting. That's been moved to the 23rd on I have 7:15. All right, regularly scheduled meeting is open and then suspended for 6 to 8 Grove Street, public hearing, site plan, mixed use building.
But there was a request to continue that to, was that also to the 23rd one? I'll look for the email, sorry. Oh, actually, is Mark Allen on? Mark Allen, are you on?
I don't see an MA.
We requested June 9th.
June 9th? Oh, okay.
Okay, now June 9th, we have a 7:10. We do not have a 7:15. Is that correct? For June 9th?
Oh, and on that one, Mr. Chair, before you continue it, I did meet with Mark Allen as well as Dave Claro, the owner. And then I also met with the folks over at the brewery. So they are considering altering that plan to eliminate the brewery portion as far as like making improvements. It seemed like all the comments that were coming from peer review were about the changes that were being made on the brewery portion of the property, but not necessarily the residential / mixed use portion of the property. And so
Because there was
I'll let them have that conversation with you, but
there was a lot of issues on that with the parking and that, but because if they could concentrate on, I don't know, the opening, he had a 40-foot wide, it has to be 2 independent openings. There was one conservation study he said he didn't have to apply to because it wasn't there, but it is on the other side of his property, so he does have to submit that to the state and to the town. So there's a lot of things I know he's working on.
Yeah.
And if he eliminates that, that would help him.
Yeah, so yeah, because that's where a lot of the comments were. By eliminating that, they don't, and then the brewery was in favor of just not touching their side of the property, just for economics, because
So is there any effect on the town's parking with this, just on the other one? Are they going to be asking for any more town spots? They wouldn't be asking.
No, I think they'd be improving the parking on the residential portion of it.
So they wouldn't go to the selectmen, they wouldn't need to go to the selectmen and get, because they would if they're asking for additional parking spaces. That's a negotiation.
If they need additional, that they're going to rely more upon it. I mean, I have to look at the agreement a little bit more closely, but I agree with that. That if they are increasing a demand on the town side, then they would need to navigate that issue with the town via the select board.
That area needs to be improved. So getting that house done and that being, putting a mixed use in would help. All right, so that 868 Grove Street is continued to June 9th at 7:15. Unless there's any objections?
No objections.
Okay, we're going to reopen the regularly scheduled meeting and suspend it for 7:20. 0 Mechanic Street, public hearing, special permit for senior housing. I believe I saw him over there.
Setting up.
Good evening.
Evening, how are you?
Thanks.
For the record, Travis Brown with Turning Point Engineering, on behalf of the applicant, Bugsy LLC. Since the last meeting, we've had another round of peer review with Stantec. Cleaned up about 3 or 4 housekeeping items related to engineering, and then did an additional truck turning analysis based on their comments. I can run through those comments with you, but we believe everything has been addressed and this was Stantec to this point. We also have met with the abutter to the north, 38 Mechanic Street, to kind of look at the screening that we previously discussed. Worked with those folks, sent them a plan, received an email today, this morning, that they were happy with those changes. So progress has been made with that. We have a meeting with conservation tomorrow. They've indicated that they will close the hearing and issue an order of conditions likely. I met with them last week. We walked the open space area. So there's about a 7.5 acre parcel that will be donated to the town.
How many turtles did you find?
We didn't find any. So
Still on
that,
my property.
yeah. So that open space would directly abut Pixie's Park, which would actually significantly expand that area, provides a trail essentially from Meadow Drive through the back of the property along the stream down to Baker Pond. And then what we told the commission we would do is come out with a trail to Mechanic Street and provide a couple of parking spaces.
Is that where your temporary access is going in now?
Yes.
You come up there?
Yes. So that kind of open area. Not much, I don't think, to talk about unless the board has any questions, but trying to get a sense, where we go from here, kind of process wise. Now that we believe everything's addressed, we do have a few waivers that we previously discussed. Not sure at which point the board would like to discuss and vote or.
Well, my suggestion, board's welcome to comment on it, is this is close. We do have to talk about your waivers in depth, just each one of them, and get your explanation of why we should be doing it. Get the review response from the final response from the peer review for that, get us our get your conservation, whatever, get that closed. And if you want to continue this till the June 9th meeting, we should be able to sum it up at that point.
Yeah. Is there any indication from here if we would get it? Because I've been kind of pushing them along. We've been delayed for quite some time.
Depending upon what the issue is, the vote can be subject to a proper satisfactory completion of whatever impacts he's looking for.
I mean, I could read you the 3 comments and you folks are smart enough to know what they are and how insignificant they are.
What would the board like? I mean, I know you typically wait for basically a clean slate of a letter from peer review saying everything's been addressed, right? Except for minor comments that might be over. Maybe they tend to run into conditions of an approval, maybe they don't, that sort of thing. It was suggested that by you, Mr. Chair, that we get a comprehensive letter from, was it from peer review with the identifying, like putting traffic together with civil, with stormwater? Or was that the comprehensive response that you wanted from the applicant here, which I think has been provided?
I think we need a comprehensive response to any outstanding question or outstanding issue that you have. So that when we go into June 9th, I have no outstanding issues at all. All the impacts have been addressed.
I would suggest then, Mr. Chair, it sounds like it'd be a good use of time to go through, if they're brief enough comments that Mr. Brown thinks he can address to you tonight. I mean, at least hear them and then you can wrap up and decide if you accept his responses.
At my age, I'm gonna forget in 2 weeks, so you're just gonna have to repeat it, but go right ahead.
All right. I don't, that's just, you don't have to by any means.
So please do.
So first, Stantec comment outstanding was recommend that we address the estimated phosphate loading on groundwater from the project. So the local stormwater regulations require 60% total phosphorus removal. The way you achieve that, there's a few different ways. One of those ways is that you're treating 1 inch of runoff times the impervious area.
Yeah.
By nature, because we're in an ACEC anyways, in the zone 2, we have to do that. Therefore, the requirements met. I did speak to Dave Lund about that as well. I talked through all these comments with Dave, so he's fully aware of it. The second one was just the routing diagram, and this is for nerds like me. So there's a program called HydroPad that we model the stormwater in. It's simply a diagram with nodes on it that basically take development areas and they route them through the stormwater. That's how we evaluate it. The diagram had not been updated when the model had been printed. Didn't change any of the calculations, didn't change the plan, just simply this item like that. His third comment was that we look at the 100-year peak flow for catch basin and pipe sizing, which is typically never the case. We always use 25-year storm. However, previously we did demonstrate the 100-year storm counts. His comment here was one of the catch basins exceeded 2 CFS, meaning that the catch basin grade can handle 2 CFS in a 100-year storm. It's slightly higher, it's 2.4 CFS, not much. So it would simply run to the next catch basin 150 feet down gradient and go to the exact same stormwater.
We don't require the 500-year storm anymore?
500 year, certainly not the time.
We're getting easy on you.
So that comment, I talked to Dave, I said, it doesn't functionally change the drainage, it gets to the same spot. At least acknowledge that on the road. The last comment was providing a stormwater pollution prevention plan, which is required prior to construction anyways. Once that happens before construction begins, we will provide that document.
And conservation gets a copy of that?
They will.
Okay, thank you.
So can I just add something? This is nothing to do with you. I just think I have a bully pulpit for 2 minutes here. I'm still really concerned about the safety on Mechanic Street. I think you guys, by taking out that curve, I think as you said last meeting, it's going to make it safer than it is now, where we all sort of cringe when we go down it. But damned if you do, damned if you don't. There's a lot of speeding on that street. And by removing that curve, it's going to probably encourage people to go faster. One of the neighbors on Mechanic Street, way down, has trying to get together a petition to put a speed bump in the middle of Mechanic Street. So this is more to Mike. And I do know that, as I said, I have the bully pulpit. It's not, it's not your chicken. But if there's anything, there was a thing the other night where there were people drag racing, 4 cars drag racing up Mechanic Street. I mean, it's just going crazy right now. And so if there's any traffic calming that can be incorporated, it's not due to the development. This is what it is now.
Yeah.
And, so I just want to raise that point is that.
One thing planning boards don't have the legal right to do is make you design something beyond what the town has established. That we established a 30-mile-an-hour zone. We have no authorization to have you design your subdivision for 40 mile an hour. Because it isn't, or 20. We can't say you can design at 20 because it's real slow and it isn't, it's 30. And that's what you have to design your thing about. Now we requested a speed detail go there, and
I haven't seen one.
I have. Yeah. Then I believe the only people stopped were the neighbors, were the people down on Mechanic Street.
Good.
So traffic is a problem, not just on Mechanic Street.
East Street.
Yeah.
Put a speed bump there too.
Speed bump, snipers, whatever we can put.
Mr. Chairman, to answer that question or to attempt to, I mean, there are traffic calming techniques that can be implemented on roads. We'd have to engage the services of traffic engineers, and Eric might be able to speak to this better than I can, of identifying the problems on that road and then matching those problems to the appropriate traffic calming techniques. So, I mean,
Eric, are you here?
Sorry, put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Would you like an assignment?
No. That's more of a traffic engineer. It would definitely require engineering. You can't just throw down a speed bump on a road.
No, I'm not a speed bump, but is there any approach to traffic control on roads such as that have been applied or can be used by the town?
I mean, I would start with like variable speed feedback signs just to try to slow people down. Outside of like real road redesign, I'm not sure you can actually slow down people. It is an enforcement issue. I see this happening all over. You can't plan people. Enforcement is the issue. You can't design a road perfectly if people are gonna just ignore speed limits. That's how it is. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question? Eric, do you have information, or have you run across in your work, information regarding just like when it comes to unsafe driving and speeding, is it just like lack of traffic that it tends to encourage speeding? So like, you know, if there's nobody around, they feel like they can, versus when there is a more of a I'll say traffic issue, when there's just more cars on the road, does that tend to slow people down?
Yes, it does tend to slow people down. And I think the thing that can contributes to people speeding are just large roads with wide road widths that you're able to speed. And so that's Mechanic Street for some extent.
And through the chair, it sounds like that's a problem on East Street. That's a problem in other areas of town, likely where it's a little bit more remote, where there's not as many cars. So people who like to gun it will gun it.
But also people, like, if you're going the speed limit or even a little bit over, people are right on your tail because you're going way too slow for them. And, you know, I do know that Joe wrote a letter to DPW and wrote a letter to the police chief about the possibility of the speed, you know, about traffic calming, because he's getting killed down there.
And we have two members of the board that live on that street, Mechanic Street. And I live on the street that all the people that walk don't go, they go on my street because there's no traffic on that street. So Fowler Street doesn't have very fast cars because it doesn't go anywhere.
Tom,
So-
there's only one. I'm on Fowler. I'm on Fowler. There's only one. Ken is.
Oh, yeah, the Mechanic, but you used to be, you had relatives there. You spent a long time on Mechanic Street in your life.
I would think rumble strips would be more effective than speed bumps. They get
And you have to
people's
let
attention.
people them.
Well, I think it's a
That's
good,
true.
I think
Makes
the planning board should actually stay on this one and keep with the police and make sure that we use every tool we have to keep it safe.
Yeah, where I was going with that is exactly that, Mr. Chair. This is a larger issue than just this item.
But I want to hesitate to put the burden of the town's problem on the
No, it doesn't belong with him. And again, it's like I know Worcester started doing speed bumps on through streets, not on tiny streets, but on fairly major. And it worked. And so they tried it on one street and they did it on another. Because, you know, so it's something that, I mean, speed bumps sound silly, but it's not. I mean, they work. And that might be something that the town can experiment
As long
with.
as the town doesn't have to start buying people mufflers.
Yeah.
Well, you put them, you know, Worcester hasn't had to deal with that.
Okay, so we good for June 9th at 7:15?
Yeah, just procedurally, we just talk about a decision, maybe preparing a decision, just to.
We'll prepare a decision. And well, Mike will prepare a decision and it'll be either way and we'll vote on it on the 9th. And
We'll do.
Sweet, just they voted on that.
and we'll vote on it. It'll be conditioned upon, you know, the Board of Health, you know, all of the other towns, but it'll allow you at least to get that step done.
And I'll follow up with peer review tomorrow.
And sometimes they're conditioned on that you finish something before you even start. So, you know, maybe yours won't be that, but yeah, you'll explain the waivers that you're asking for. We'll vote on the waivers individually. And then we'll vote on the project and give you the conditions for signatures. Thank you.
Through the chair, we have a authorization for additional services.
How much is that gonna change? You're gonna have to, I think, move one in, if you redo one of the other.
No, we don't anticipate moving any, replace that driveway, so it's upgrading of the pole that's there.
Pole on the curb where we're taking the curb out? I thought there was a pole right with a, I might be wrong.
Yeah, I pulled down further.
Okay,
I didn't think it was down that far. I thought you were taking that sort of.
Yeah,
inside out.
Yeah, it is, but there's no pole. The pole's actually kind of further down the road.
I mean, if you move the pole, that just kind of move in.
It would, if the need were to be to move the pole,
Okay.
we're just.
Fine. My only concern is just, we have at least 100-year-old white oak out front, I just don't wanna affect that.
Is it on the town's right away?
Yes.
And that town would be responsible for that.
Yeah.
That means you're the town, you can do that. All right, thank you. Okay, move on. And so let's suspend the regular scheduled meeting and open up 3 Centennial Court public hearing for proposed 5 apartments.
Again, that was a request to continue that as well, as they deal with Conservation Commission.
And they also have a peer review that they have not responded to in total. They sent have they put a new plan? Have they submitted the, there's 10 pages. There's 10 pages of engineering issues that they had to address.
Through the chair, you decided not to peer review for 3 Centennial Court. We have a signed contract, in case you decide to.
That's why I wasn't remembering.
Well, that one has the right of way is like 10 feet wide that it has to go through. We gotta get the approval for that.
Mr. Chairman, yes, town council is reviewing that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I still don't have feedback from town council on that as of yet.
We, they've got 25 spots. 30 spots. They have 25 in one and then 5 in a garage, and planning boards don't differentiate between a carport, a garage, or in a field. A parking spot's a parking spot. They've got 30, they need 2. Handicap spots, they only had 1, so they have to submit new plans to show us a second handicap spot.
Okay.
They haven't done that yet either, as far as I know.
All right.
So what else was there on that one? I don't remember.
Okay, well, I can convey that to the applicant.
So I think that should be probably the 23rd and not the 9th. I don't think they're gonna be ready.
I believe they requested to the 23rd, is it right?
Okay, good. So that would make it 7:20 on the 23rd. 3 Centennial Court. Questions from the board, comments? Anybody here for Centennial Court? All right, that will be continued to 23rd at 7:20. Okay, we will reopen the regularly scheduled meeting and suspend it for 169 South Street. Public hearing for a special permit for a large-scale ground-mounted solar. Do we have the applicant for that?
Yes, good evening, Rick Morrell.
Hello, good evening. Go right ahead.
No, good evening, and thanks for meeting us tonight. I think I'm here with Sean Malone.
I'm here, Rick.
All right, sounds good. Sean, you want to take it away?
Sure. And for the record, Sean Malone, No Consulting Group. I'm the civil engineer for the project. If I may, can I share my screen?
Please do.
All right. Let's see this. And all right. And okay, so this is a proposed solar field. This is
So
at.
this is a child on skis.
We're seeing.
Which, oh, you got my wrong screen. You got my daughter.
I like the other one better.
I was gonna say, if that was
Yeah,
ground
me-
mounted solar, I'd go for it in a heartbeat.
Me too. Well, now she's 17 though, so that's a whole nother story. So we're here for the solar field at 169 South Street. I believe that we came before the board with this preliminarily. I know we discussed preliminarily with the Conservation Commission, but just to quickly recap, this is the remaining parcel of a definitive subdivision that this board approved a couple years ago. It's now known as Sawmill Brook Road, and that is this area right here. It was a 5-lot subdivision. 4 of those lots have been developed with residents, new houses, and then the remaining lot was this back lot back here. And the intention has always been to put a solar field back there. This area was once a gravel pit. It's been mined out. If you've been back there, it's mostly exposed soils. There are some trees and different topography, but it's pretty flat bowl area with just kind of exposed soil. It's accessed through an existing drive from what is now Sawmill Brook Road, across the Taft Pond Brook, which traverses the site north to south. And so there's an existing crossing there, and then you access the old gravel pit. The proposal is to reuse the existing gravel drive that goes back there, reuse the existing crossing and kind of beef up that crossing with a concrete mat slab over it, just to provide long-term stability there and ensure that that lasts for many years. We have also had preliminary conversations with the fire department about 6 months or so ago and presented this project. There wasn't any significant concerns identified at that time. There are some particular solar field firefighting, fire protection codes that have to be adhered to, but overall access seemed acceptable. As you
Can I interrupt
may,
you right there, Rick?
yes,
The fire department agreed to the slopes and the widths and the turning radius for what you proposed, surface conditions?
well, they hadn't seen a final plan, but at the time, we discussed that, there is a 18-foot wide gravel drive that goes back there. I think they've seen it. And the intent was to just reuse that. There is a lot of open space out there for turnaround. But I don't want to speak to the fire department. I'm sure that they'll issue whatever findings and questions or concerns that they have. This is just what we talked about 6 or 8 months ago.
All right, I'm just letting you, giving you forewarning, additional information may be required to demonstrate that they can do their job in there. They can get in and maintain it.
Yep, understood.
Yeah, like Sean said, that we had a site visit on site and discussed all that. So yes, we hear what you're saying, and we'll get whatever we need from them to move
All right,
forward.
thank you.
You
Yeah,
got it.
mostly the grades and the turns. It's going to be a fire truck, so they have to be able to get in there safely.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
And this area is pretty flat. And if you recall, this area is encumbered by an Army Corps flowage easement. Basically, that means they have the right to flood up to elevation 269 in these areas, basically any of the areas that aren't shaded. That goes back decades, I think to the 50s maybe.
It's been there forever. That 2969 contour has been there forever.
Exactly. And then over the years, this land had been mined out by others as a gravel pit. So this gray area, which previously was outside of the 269 contour, has basically been excavated down to now be within that range. So for our intent here, this whole site is considered floodplain. But for Army Corps, one of their restrictions is, they still do not consider jurisdiction of this area. So they've relayed to Rick that pretty much he can do whatever he wants in this gray area without the Army Corps being concerned about it. So that's the area that we concentrate.
From a planning board perspective, if you're under 269, you'll have to flood proof any utilities that you're installing.
Yep, understood.
Right.
And so this is the proposal. This is that gray area I just talked about, and these are the the solar panels. There's also some steep slopes on the north side and south side here. So we've really located these panels down in the lower portion, the flatter portion. And what that's going to do is minimize the amount of earthwork. We are in a floodplain, so any fill we place in there, we also have to provide compensatory storage. So by keeping everything down to the flatter portions, we'll have less of that fill and excavation. And our intent here is to, our hope is to have zero export of soils here in order to mitigate the floodplain. There may be some, but we do have provisions for storing materials outside of the floodplain at higher elevations. So we, again, hopefully don't have to export any soils. There is a battery storage area that's located. So the access drive comes like so. This is the crossing. And then we come around and this area is actually graded up higher than that 269 contour. So the battery storage and the transformer, any of that equipment is going to be above the floodplain elevation. And then to your point, Mr. Chair, all the additional, electric conduit and boxes to the panels, those will all be waterproofed. And Rick has had many conversations with the solar people, and they understand that although it may not be likely, it is possible that these panels will be inundated with water, and they have confirmed that they can handle that will be okay. We have submitted to the Conservation Commission. That process is underway because, again, we are in the floodplain. We're also in the natural heritage, rare species habitat. That's this line here. So this area is within that habitat area. So we're working our way through that process. We have gotten some peer review comments from, I believe it's DGT, and then also some comments from Mass DEP that they requested that we respond to. So we are going to be working through those comments, making any plan changes that's necessary. But that's kind of the snapshot of the project, and be happy to answer any questions the board has at this time.
Thank you. Board members, questions? Now, the Endangered Species Act, you do that with conservation?
It's part of the notice of intent filing, but it's with the natural heritage folks at DEP. It's a separate group.
Yeah, I know that your DEP gets involved because of your the amount of wetlands that you're impacting.
Well, DEP is
But I was
involved.
just curious if where the town is probably the best at what's in there, and just want to make sure that they get involved, because conservation is going to be involved with your drainage. Just wondering who in town is going to be involved with your endangered species protection.
Well, the Conservation Commission is part of that discussion. So the way that it works is, and I'm not an expert, but my understanding, we've hired Goddard Environmental. They're our environmental wetlands consultant. They're leading the Notice of Intent Conservation Commission and Natural Heritage permitting. But they have submitted to Natural Heritage. They've engaged in some discussions. My understanding is that Natural Heritage will come back with a determination and some recommendations that then they stand alone, but then also be incorporated into any order of conditions that the Conservation Commission has. So the Concom is involved in that process.
All right, and my last question is visual. How much of this is going to be visible to the neighbors that we can help them with, and not your setbacks are okay? What is it, 100 foot? What's your
We're 100
setbacks?
feet. Yes, we are 100 feet from either property line. And this is the northern property. So the abutters up here are up around elevation 290, 285. Our elevation down here is 260. So, and these panels are about 3 to 5 feet off the ground for the leading edge. The back edge is about 11 feet off the ground. So the abutters over here are sitting probably about, 15 feet higher than the top of the panel. So we think there will be zero to very little visual impact any of the butters. And with that, we're also maintaining the 100-foot buffer and existing trees there.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. Is there a perimeter fence around this whole thing?
There is, yes.
And is there a main gate to get in that's locked?
Yes, so the main gate would be, this is that raised area I mentioned with the electrical equipment. And this will be the main entrance in, with the gate here.
Fire department have a key.
Does the fire department have keys to that? I
They
expect.
they absolutely will, or there'll be a Knox box. We'll do whatever the fire department needs us to do there, but they absolutely would have access.
Thank you.
Through the chair, this is a silly question, but solar energy is not my thing. How is the energy generated by this going to get into the grid? Is it going to be underground cables? Is it going to be, above ground? How is it going to get from there to everywhere else?
Overhead wires. So
There's going to be overhead wires installed.
Yes,
And that'll be
poles and overhead electric from here. And then when we did the Sawmill Brook subdivision, that was overhead up to this point to accommodate the solar field. And then that'll be tied into the electric lines on South Street.
Okay, so the new electrical lines will only go from Sawmill down to South.
Yes, I don't think that Grid's putting any new poles or any like additional wires, right, Rick? Do you know of?
Well, I know they'll upgrade, I think it's 5 poles to get down, because they upgraded a series of poles leading from Mendon to 3-phase. So they're gonna be upgrading, I think it's 5 poles from Sawmill Brook Lane down to the right, to get the power back out to the substation.
In our previous, I think one of the previous meetings many years ago, we were talking about it. There was talk about trails. Is that incorporated into this at all? Like
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the trail, and that was something that
Yes.
the Conservation Commission in particular was interested in, and we have added that to this plan. And this is consistent with what we talked about in the trails. And what we're providing is an easement to the Conservation Commission to build the trail. We're not proposing the disturbance. But there'd be a trail easement along the southern portion or southwestern portion of Taft Pond Brook down to the abutting property. And then on this property, this trail would be along the brook and then up around the solar field to connect to some existing trails. We actually digitize the existing trails from All Trails or Mass Mapper onto this plan. So this is about where the existing trails connect. So we'll connect to that, and then these go everywhere, all through the river basin.
Thank
you. All right, any questions? Yeah, go ahead.
The question about the battery storage, how are they minimizing any noise that would be generated by the battery and transmission of the electric?
Good question. What are the decibels? What is the noise effect of these?
It's a good question. I don't have the dB on that. I can get that for you, but I believe the housings around these are insulated, so the noise is minimized. But I can get you the dB reading.
Yeah, I think it's 50 decibels from whatever it is, X number of feet from your property line. That'd be, I think it's whatever that noise is, it's loud. I'd be surprised if they approach that.
Right.
Yeah, in this, the battery storage is located more towards not the true middle, but closer towards the center of the property. So we're probably 400 or 500 feet away from the closest property line. But like Rick said, we'll get you some more information on that.
Good
I need that butter, almost closest, so.
Good question.
To minimize the noise from the batteries.
Yes.
Buildings like around it to minimize it, to maybe push it further to the pit where other, residents, and then.
Can you do that test to see what your noise emissions are and provide that information?
I
It would
couldn't
be,
fully
it
hear
would be
that.
actually,
Say that again?
it would be at your property line. If you could take the measurement at your property line, and then 50 feet next 50 feet away from your property line is where the town measures it. Is that possible?
You want
Or
me to
just-
measure what
Well,
exactly?
actually, if you have ones that have already been built, you can take measurements of that typical device, typical system that you're using. And we're probably not the first ones to ask that question.
Mr. Chairman, so in your bylaws, it's something like 40 or 30 from decibel levels. I think above whatever the baseline decibel, which I think is what you're asking for, is for a baseline.
Yes.
I think through the special permit, you can also ask for them to provide that information after, should you approve this. You can ask for that information to be provided afterwards, so you can get a sense of it, and then at that time, if it is creating an issue or beyond what is allowed, control for it at that point.
Good, but I'd also like to know the industry standard. What is the average output?
I mean, in addition to all that.
Yes, and then measure it after it's in. All right, does that make sense? Can you give us the standard, the industry standard on what they generally produce? And then after they're in, measure it?
Yeah, and after they're installed, you would like us to measure it, sure.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Second question is, say that the panels should be located further down the hill and little chance of seeing the panels from the residential properties. Is there any way you can mark that ahead of time so we carefully make sure we don't look out there and see, on the panels?
We have a concern, and not just with this one, with the line of sight on these impacting property values and quality of life in the neighborhood. So could you take somehow measure where that's going to be going, the height, and check the view from the neighbor's property line?
Sure.
Is that satisfactory?
Just trying to figure out how would you like us to do that? To set some certain markers up or certain, elevations with.
He can stand at his property line, and you could put a stick with a flag on it and raise it up and see if you
Yeah,
can see it.
yeah, kind of like a balloon
Balloon test. We do
to
balloon
the
tests.
elevation.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a question. What is the point of checking noise levels once something's operational? I mean, can you require them to stop it?
It's in the special permit.
No, but I mean, what is the recourse if it exceeds it?
Boards have the ability to revoke special permits if they're not following.
Okay, so if it exceeds it, we can basically,
Well, how do we know if they lied to us if we don't check it after they build it?
no, but I'm just wondering, what is the recourse? But we can, I mean, I'm not taking a position one way or the other. I'm just wondering if they spend like millions on the project and it exceeds it, are we gonna say, okay, if we're taking your permit away, you gotta shut everything down?
Yeah, if you.
And we can do that.
Significant issues
Okay.
with, special permits after, and they're not following any of, I mean, that you would do that in a very bad situation. You would revoke a special permit. This, I would suggest working into the condition so you have the opportunity to revisit it. And they already know ahead of time that they're gonna be on, they're on for it.
Yes.
Yes.
But if we know the size of the display and what it puts out for, there must be an industry standard as to what it puts out for noise, for light, for whatever. What else? Okay, we're going to continue this until when?
Well,
Yeah,
our
sure.
thought was maybe kick it out a month, give us a chance to respond to the review comments and get those back to DGT and hopefully have them be able to review and comment on them before we come back to the board.
How's 7:30 on June 23rd?
Can I ask, how many hearings do we have on June 23rd? Because we also
Yeah.
had that meeting with the housing before that.
Yeah, and actually, Rick, I didn't look at, I'm out of town that day too. So
Thank you.
I didn't tell Rick that one yet.
So we're on 7:30 on June 23rd.
No, he said he's out of town.
What's your July?
Do you want to make it July what?
We only have one meeting in July, don't we? It's when I'm on vacation.
Yeah, we only have the one meeting on the 14th.
Oh, 14th I can do.
Well, we better
Was
book
that what
our
we
time
agreed on?
then.
18th or the 28th, remember which one is actually happening. probably the 28th. I think it was the first one that was canceled.
Did we vote on it?
Check. Yeah, it's on the website. I just don't remember.
So could we try to get on the 16th? Is that not possible? Was it?
Hold on, we only have one meeting in July and August of the summer schedule. I'll just wait to find out which is the second or the fourth Tuesday.
I thought it was the 4th because I thought I was on vacation.
If you said you were on vacation, then we wouldn't have scheduled it then. So I think you're right. Just
The week of the 18th, I'm on vacation.
yeah, July 14th.
Okay, it's July 14th.
Yeah, 14th.
The 14th is our meeting in July.
Yep.
So it'll be July 14th at it's our first meeting, 7:05.
Yep.
Is there anybody else on there? 7:05, July 14th.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
I'll reach out to the fire department for their comments ahead of that.
Yes, yes. Fire department, conservation, and who else? Was one of the thing.
You had asked select board, but they don't get involved.
Select board doesn't get involved, Board of Health doesn't get involved.
Yeah, I don't think there'd be any interest of DPW because this isn't including any
No,
public
and
improvements.
I know it's flat, but the fire department, it's the turning radius that they need. So it can be flat, but they really gotta have it. They can't have too much of
They
a.
also may have comments about the battery storage too, so.
Excellent.
Another thing worth commenting on is it's going to be inundated with water, or it could be. How are they going to get there if it's submerged? Going to have like fireboats?
Well, that hasn't, I don't think I've seen.
No, but I mean, that was one of the things that because they were saying that during the presentation that
Yeah.
the, that it's not going to hurt the batteries if it's submerged, because it's a good chance that it's going to be submerged. And so how does,
Can you still hear me?
yeah,
Yep.
Yes, you can. Well, the batteries are above 269, right? Everything else is below 269, except for some electronics. So if it ever was to submerge, it's short-lived that it's submerged, and the fire department really wouldn't need to get bound there because nothing that is
It's submerged.
below 269 would be a fire hazard.
okay,
You know
We'll
what I
just
mean?
accept.
okay.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Glad you were still on.
All right, so back to the regularly scheduled meeting reopened. We have to accept the filing of a preliminary subdivision on 42 Walnut Street.
Got that. So
And is that going up for peer review, or do we want to,
that's up to the board. It's
how many units?
it's a 5-lot subdivision. It's existing home. We've spoken about this prior to initially. There's an existing home there, so it's proposed 4 additional lots. So 5 total. Cul-de-sac that's extending, I believe they're requesting a waiver to do beyond, what was it, 500, I think is the limit.
Yeah.
As well as
That's existing.
the typical, sidewalk relief that you receive on these to do one side of road of sidewalk. And then I believe there's also a road with waiver on there as well. All the waivers are listed to the right of the.
So this is the current driveway, right? And they're gonna make a road out of it, and they're gonna take the house that exists and put a driveway to it?
I believe the applicant shaking his head no, but
Now it's gonna be a new road.
But does it follow where does the driveway to this existing house come from now?
It's also coming from Walnut Street. But it may not be marked land.
Mr. Chair, it's Jim Sullivan from GNH, if I may.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you see the road on the left side, if you would, on the right side. It's to the right of the proposed road. There is a proposed septic system, and the old driveway kind of hugs that first septic there on that first lot. Does that make sense to you?
I think this is the original driveway.
I see it, yeah.
Thank you.
So again, the only action before the planning board tonight is to accept filing. It's that, you're looking at it, you have a plan in front of you. The correct form has been submitted for preliminary subdivision. We've also received the fee. So the question to you, looking at this plan tonight, And you don't have to decide tonight necessarily. You can-
We're gonna find if they pay us. Get the money.
I think we need to, do we have peer review fees already or do we
What's
need
the-
them? I
what's the
forget.
initial-
Filing fees, what's the filing fee for,
Oh, okay.
So this is the current draft.
Oh.
Yes, we have the filing fee has been paid, correct.
Is this an A and R?
well, that completes the submission, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Once we get the plan, we get the filing fees, we get the plan, you have submitted it,
A 198, it goes to 308.
there's nothing we would say that you haven't submitted, so it's not a complete submission. You've got your land surveyor stamp. All right, so we can submit it. We're just gonna decide whether or not, we're gonna send this out for peer review.
See the waivers.
And again, this is for folks who might not be familiar with the preliminary filing. There's no approval or denial of the plan during this stage. You will either decide that this stage is complete, finished, and then that is the green light for them to submit the definitive. For residential subdivisions, they do not have to submit preliminary subdivisions. They can file definitive immediately.
One of the things that a preliminary does is we have when you file a definitive, it's 120 days that a planning board has to act. If you file a preliminary, it drops down to 90 days on our definitive. I believe that's what happens.
If those, I mean, yeah. I believe so.
This eliminates 30 days of
Yeah.
our ability on that.
I forget the exact timeline, but you're right.
But we generally don't send a preliminary out for peer review. All of the engineering that has to accompany the definitive is what we spend the money on. We generally send this out to all the town boards.
And then they would submit a definitive and then we.
Then the definitive goes to all the town boards and a peer review.
Not been submitted to the rest of the town boards yet. We just received this, so this would, I would suggest this be put onto a meeting in the future, and we will have circulated it to boards and departments if they have
Yes.
questions, comments, concerns to be expressed to the board at this time. That can be memorialized. That can just be feedback for the applicant when they file the.
No, to the applicant, planning boards are not required to give you any comment on this plan. We can just say that we've received it, and when the definitive is filed, no waivers have been granted. That's typically what we do. But we do like to give you some feedback on what you've presented to make the definitive a little bit more of a smoother process. At least get understanding of what conservation, fire department is going to say about the road length, and what any other comments that we have in the town boards. And that will help you when you put in the definitive. At least you'll know what you're going to be up against going forward. Is there any other comments from the board or?
Yeah, not quite sure I understand it. There's a trail. Where does this trail go to?
So
What's the
that's
walking path?
Yeah, so that is a walking path. We had discussed early on with the board about potential open space or not open space. So what we show you there is a proposal for a walking path from this road to go up to the potential East Street subdivision that you spoke about earlier. That's a walking path from one road up to the other subdivision.
I remember.
This was the one I was thinking.
Yep.
Yeah, so that would actually, assuming East Street does what they proposed, you'd be able to walk from here
All the way to Peppercorn.
through the development and then up East Street. Yeah.
So that's an assumption that East Street gets the approval.
Yeah, so there's a lot of assumptions under that, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just felt it might be, excuse me.
And how does it get from this subdivision through East Street? Does it go on to the East Street Estates property or?
Yeah, it goes to their street.
Yeah, it shows it connecting onto that proposed road.
Yes,
So
it does.
So would you need, would they need authorization from
So
East Street Estate? And I
Yeah,
think
we've
that
had
was one of the things we talked about. And have you
Yeah,
gotten that?
We've had discussions with the owner of the property on East Street Estates. Yes.
But there's no indication of if they're agreeable to that or not.
No, they were agreeable to it. The applicant and the owner on East Street are working through any additional logistics or, you know, finer points if you would. But they have agreed to be able to do an easement as shown. Again, presuming East Street was approved.
Okay, on your frontage measurements, they are a straight line, so, you'll have to, looks like this first lot 1 is okay, but you'll have to give us a straight line measurement on lot line to lot line on the second one. And around the cul-de-sac, you get 1-for-1 on the road, and you get 70% on the thing itself, on the curve itself. You aware of that?
Yes, yes, we are, and we're confident, well, I know that we can provide that to you. In the, around the cul-de-sac, like you say, it's 70% for the cul-de-sac, and we have taken that into consideration. All these lots conform. Yes.
Yeah, I haven't got my calculator, but it looks like you've taken care of that. But I only see the 187 on the second lot. There must be more that I'm missing.
And the proposed cistern.
Yeah, they added,
Oh, the 55 up on top.
Again, I'd be glad to, obviously, if you want it, you know, we give you a subsequent plan for your use for feedback and/or we'll incorporate that. But I know that it's been looked at.
Oh, great, thank you.
This is a conventional subdivision, right?
This will be
Yes.
conventional,
Yes, it is.
and you're going to be asking for waivers for the open space because you have the walking path.
That's correct.
All right. All right, we have received it. We have, and we wait, we will get back to you with whatever we can.
We appreciate the feedback.
All right, thank you very much. Any other questions for the?
Yeah, I just have a quick, the traffic that comes from this office.
comment it, yeah.
That's likely.
Sorry, was there a question there?
I don't know. Was there a question?
The question was if that the traffic that goes out to Walnut will eventually end up on East Street. I think the answer to that is yes.
Yes, I think that's I think that's reasonable.
Mr. Chairman, do you want to put that on a date certain for a future agenda for more discussion?
No, our next thing is to give him an answer on what he submitted,
Yeah.
suggestions, and then it's up to him to submit a definitive. And then we'll he'll go to the definitive. He can go right now if he wants, because he's
Right.
already submitted, or he can wait till we give him some comments and then submit it.
Yeah, so when do you want to have it on your agenda to discuss further comments?
Whenever he wants to come in and talk, if you have any questions for us, you can talk to Mike at any time, and if you want to come into the board and ask the full board, you can do that at any time. I don't know that we need to put you on the agenda, because we have your application. We're gonna take a couple weeks or a month to respond to it, and then you're gonna look at it, and then you're gonna make a decision on when you file your definitive. So I'm not sure
Planning board meeting, no, then the neighbors can hear your comments and.
But I don't know if we'd make the comments until there was a submission. We're gonna make our comments on what's been already, and you're gonna get that. Right?
Where will the public be able to?
It'll be in a regular meeting,
Asking.
and it'll be online. We'll put our comments on the website, and we'll let him know and put them in the minutes.
So are you asking about comments on the preliminary design?
Yeah.
Or the,
Yeah, but we preliminary, we don't even, again,
I understand you don't vote
we
on
don't-
it.
but what we do is we try to look at it and save everybody's time and trouble, let everybody know what's happening before the definitive, so it's not a surprise for anybody. But as far as what we do, there's no action that we take.
But just to be able to hear what those comments are back to the,
I wouldn't know how to put that on as an agenda item. How would we it would be general discussion. Men in a meeting and we could answer your questions if that's.
Yeah, it's any meeting.
that's what I'm asking.
But you can go online and just listen if you'd.
The rules are you come in anytime and you ask us anything you want.
So I'm just asking, is it like having, is it gonna be put on so that we know that you'll be talking about it?
Probably not, because there's nothing that we can talk about. We're waiting for them to do the next step. We're gonna respond with this and then we're gonna wait.
I'm asking your response to that.
That's what we'll do.
That will be on the agenda.
That will be on the agenda for the month.
Okay, that's all.
That's it. Then we're gonna get hopefully we'll have our responses from all of the town boards as well. So you'll not only hear what we have to say, but you'll hear what the other boards that are involved have to say as well.
And that's all I was.
Yeah. If they drop into a meeting with questions before that, then that's not gonna be on the agenda. That's just them showing up. But when we directly talk about the plans, that's an agenda item.
Preliminary or the definitive?
The definitive. Preliminary, we just talked about.
The definitive is when we have to say.
We're not gonna talk about this until it comes back to
The definitive makes us we have to set a public hearing.
Okay.
We have to take a whole bunch of money and get filing fees and send it out to peer review. We don't do any of that at a preliminary. A lot of applicants don't even come in with a preliminary. They come straight in with a definitive. There's no preliminary. He's a nice guy. He's coming in to try and flush out some of the problems first. But for planning board reaction, we just review it, we announce it, we let everybody know we're doing. And then it's up to him.
We send it out to the town boards,
Yeah. So
to the town, to the police department, the fire department, so they can comment.
but we will do our best to let you know what we found out on the thing in a month. But then after that, there's nothing, it wouldn't be on the agenda until he came back.
Definitive, I understand.
That makes sense.
So I'm not sure I understand. I just want to make sure. So in the town of Upton, is it possible that anybody who has a large lot can do this kind of thing? Because I was under the impression that when you buy a single lot, it's a single lot and that's what it is.
Well, it looks like that's a parcel that can be cut out into lots, so if he buys 20 acres of land and he puts a subdivision road in, he can do that. Maybe it's just one lot when he buys it, but he's subdividing the property.
I get that. I'm just saying several of us on the street that own large parcels that, and I was not aware that we could, I mean, I don't want to do it. I'm just-
You're,
well,
you can,
There's lot sizes that
if you own the land and you can,
yeah, we could have a big one.
you can put up anything that's allowed by zoning, which is a subdivision, senior housing,
And conservation.
conservation land, it could be open space, it could be, it's your land, you can develop it, whatever is allowed by our zoning.
Yes, sure. I guess that's what I never understood that was allowed in our zoning.
It's through the chairman, it's not just allowed through the zoning, I mean, that's state law guarantees you the right to explore that option for anyone who owns more land than the minimum.
That's
in the
required.
zoning district. So in this zoning district, it's 80,000 square feet, which is roughly 2 acres, is the minimum, which exists as your agricultural residential district. As Mr. Chairman was just stating that if you have 100 acres, you can explore the subdivision process for yourself. I would say that if you buy a parcel of land that is 100 acres and already has a house on it, the mere fact of just having a house on it already doesn't lock it into always needing to be 100 acres. You always have the ability in the future to explore subdivision for yourself as a property owner.
Okay, thank you.
But don't do it. No.
Insensitive. Just
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we're gonna move on to a couple things for the planning board. We have a master plan. You've got money, you're getting grant for that. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Chairman, you have a proposal that was submitted to you from CMRPC to work with us on submitting for funding for the master plan.
What do you need from us? Anything?
Just if you have any comments about what they've submitted to you, as far as, I mean, they gave you,
I did read that, yeah.
yeah.
You're gonna be able to, you can use that for, this year?
Like the CMRPC proposal.
Calendar year or fiscal year? And calendar year, yeah, fiscal year.
This,
We got funding, we wouldn't get funding until like around November.
I just wonder how much do you want to go forward with the local departments? Or do you want to wait until we have, the funding?
I think that's up to the board to decide, because we can go forward with meeting with the Affordable Housing Trust, and trying to push out like a housing chapter update. And then maybe when we do get funding, for CMRPC to do a rewrite, to just amend the scope to be reviewing the housing chapter.
But the individual departments still would have to do it no matter what, which, because you had mentioned another one. You said, what else should be in there? You said
Parking.
Any information we can front load, I think would be helpful.
parking?
I think that's one of the biggest problems in the town with transportation is parking.
The parking that's in the town, village district.
Mhm.
We're proposing to have that parking, allowance in the new one,
Yeah, I believe that'll be one of the recommendations.
which allows you to park within a certain distance. It allows you to use people's yards and.
Yeah, it's a combined parking and, yeah.
Interested to see tomorrow what they propose.
Yeah, so we probably should put the parking that's the new parking that's allowed in the village development. And somewhere put in there that the planning board would recommend that being the new other village district. That parking be addressed all over town.
No, older people don't usually want a street parking.
I don't,
Feel
no.
comfortable. I know my father, if it's hard to park somewhere, he's like, I'm not going there.
And just checking with everyone, June 23rd works as a meeting with the Affordable Housing Trust. I think the intention, you correct me if I'm wrong, was to meet with the Affordable Housing Trust at like 5 or 6 o'clock before the planning board meeting to discuss the housing chapter and review that, and continue with the normal planning board meeting at 7.
Now, do you want, would it make sense to have them meet first and then us meet, or have a joint meeting?
Well, I think we're meeting first. The Affordable Housing Trust is having a meeting first. And then we're having a joint meeting. And then the planning board.
Perfect.
Be like 5 o'clock.
Do you want me to go to or you're gonna represent us in the both meetings? You're gonna represent us in the first meeting?
I mean, I think meeting we'll be talking most.
That's the 23rd?
It's not going to be, the meeting from 5 to 6 isn't going to focus on the master plan. It's going to focus on other housing trusts.
Then, you-
But no, actually, it would be good if you could come. One of the things, did you bring up the senior housing? 40B senior housing?
what about
We were talking a little bit about it, and I mentioned that I talked to Mike about.
Oh, yeah, Lauren looked into, she got some answers on those questions.
Oh, yeah. So as far as like wait lists and stuff, I reached out to someone they have on his website that shows like housing, affordable housing developments that do have wait lists and what they are, but no data was available. And then
It's like
the building commissioner told us about like a senior housing development, in Newton, I think, that had 3 affordable units. But I wasn't able to find any else in the area that do.
Well, I
They
think
do
what
count.
the issue was, and I think Tommy found it, is I didn't know if in Massachusetts you could do senior housing as a 40B, because I thought there was a preference to do multi-bedrooms to make it family.
and we have.
And then
all-
Mike thought that there may not be even permissible bylaw, but Tommy found the bylaw.
And since assisted living is in, and just a 24-hour care and, but it's for seniors that just need, the, whatever, there's a word for it.
Assistance, I mean, it's,
But they, I asked Mike to talk to the selectmen about, what about, does the town own any land that it could use to put up assisted senior housing? And the affordable senior assisted housing for Upton residents that wanna, that, you know, you can't, you wanna stay here, but you need help. And could they get grant money for it? Could we get the money to just pay a developer to build it? You know, we would do the design, we would do all of the stuff. It's 24-hour care, so. Could the town,
I mean, one of the things we were looking at is not, it was like, if somebody like the Desjardins, you know, they had to move out of town. And it's to keep, it's like to let people stay in town, and if our bylaws, so it's not really assisted living. You know, a couple models, it's, one is just senior housing, apartment housing, but if we can do it as a 40B, because then we can use that to.
can you put that bylaw up on the screen? Which one's senior assisted?
But assisted is assisted, it's not independent living.
Well, it's the next step up from
But I'm more interested in independent.
40B. It's still, I thought it was still in the 40B bucket, but it was only for senior citizens. It was still,
That was my question.
wasn't for just disabled, it was for assisted senior living. I thought that's what we put in our,
This is in the senior housing?
I thought it was called assisted senior living, assisted senior something. I've been assistant.
So, yes. I mean, ideally, it would be one where you could exist from independent living to like sort of the Willows model. Like, could we put a Willows?
And we put that you build it just like one of our other processes. So it was,
To get a bylaw.
I don't even know if it was a site plan.
It's Upton desperately.
Yeah, I'm
needed.
not sure.
Yeah, we only have right now, we only allow senior housing for very wealthy people.
You have regulations for senior housing communities, and in that.
This is in our bylaw?
I remember putting in assisted living at some point.
Regulations, so I imagine these are tied to your senior housing bylaw.
Yeah, so you have to be careful.
Congregates.
Yeah, it consumed too much time.
The mill assisted living?
I was hoping that
The
maybe,
big mill building, is that assisted living?
No, that's just 40.
yeah. I mean,
That's not assisted,
I guess the two big questions
subsidized.
are, do our zoning bylaws allow it? And could we do a 40B?
Oh, yeah, looks like we defined those terms separately. Yeah, here, yes. In your senior housing communities regulations, which are pursuant to your senior housing special permit bylaw, you define the different uses. So you have a different use in here for assisted living facility. Includes the provisions of services geared to an aging adult population, which may have difficulty functioning independently and may require oversight, including but not limited to provisions of a full meal plan, transportation services, personal care, assistance with medication.
And that's what you were asking. That's what we have in our bylaws, that you can build that.
I was also looking for more independent living, like the Desjardins didn't need assisted living.
And then you have congregate senior living, which seems like a step down from that. Private dwelling units / apartments, which may have kitchen facilities within a complex containing central dining and other common areas, and is designed for an adult population requiring some supportive services, not limited to meals, housekeeping.
But it's not 24-hour care, I think.
It doesn't say that. 24
But I think we put 24-hour care in the assisted, didn't we?
Oh, and then you have independent senior housing, which is geared towards independently functioning adults.
So then the big question is, can we do a 40B? So we can put it in Upton, but can we?
So my question was, can we use town land? Is there a town property that we can use to build this senior assisted thing?
Well, I was thinking the St. Gabriel's land, which isn't owned by the town, but, you know, we have money in the,
Yeah,
Community Preservation Act fund.
but the whole idea when
Land
we did
across the
that was
street's
that
a
if
town,
you're,
isn't it?
Huh?
Land across the street is a town, isn't it?
That's limited by the the terms of how it was bequeathed to the town.
Oh. Used to be a soccer field or something.
But there was,
There was one more item on the agenda, was there?
did they sell it?
Oh, we have to do a,
Oh, you're gonna,
Yeah.
capital committee.
do you want to be in the capital committee again?
I was actually, Eric's still on here. I mean, I love the capital budget committee.
No.
Because you get a real head start, but I don't know what value I bring to it. And I think it's like he is more of a planner than I am. Because the capital budget
You go.
committee really.
He already did, no.
Did you say no?
Yeah, I
It's
said
really.
no.
All right.
You know, because you're supposed to be able to like look at plans and make sure they're feasible. And I can look at plans and say, wow, I really like that, but I can't, you know, you have engineers, you have folks.
Well, actually, I think there's some difference of opinion over exactly what the capital budget committee has been charged with.
I was corrected at the last meeting.
Eric, she's good at volunteering people.
So,
That's why I'm here.
You're talking about.
yes, and it sounded like you were talking. about
Cheap.
Yeah,
How can we build this cheaper?
Yeah.
That's not what capital budget is about.
yeah.
It's about prioritizing.
Which you can do. All right,
Eric would be better.
Kathy accepts her.
They don't meet much. I mean, I think they meet 3 times or 4 times a year.
Is there a motion to nominate Kathy to the capital
I could
budget?
probably swing.
I moved
I'll second-
in that there is a nomination to.
I'll second that for discussion. Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. It's unanimous. Thank you very much.
Margaret's not here. Make Margaret do it.
Oh, missed opportunity, yeah.
Oh, God.
All right, what about the meeting adjourned 9:02?
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you
Yeah,
guys.
so if you could check on.
Thank you.
me, because